Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Miss Universe 2017 preview and predictions. So, first of all, I want to say that the group of women that are competing this year overall is one of the strongest I feel I've ever seen, and I've been a fan for many years and judging for many years. So, I just want to say that up front that, boy, what a strong group. But this year, Miss Universe has decided to, I mean, the pageant has decided to only have a top 12, not a top 15. So that complicates matters because there are so many good contestants, or better actually. To whittle it down to just 12 or even 15 is difficult. But there are some clear contestants as far as the top 10 or top 12. So let's talk about who I think will be in the top 12. So, first of all, I'm going to start with Miss Mexico. She is very regal, and, I don't know how tall she is, but she comes across as statuesque regardless. There's just something I really like about her. So Miss Mexico, I think, is a definite one. Miss Venezuela, when I first saw Miss Venezuela, I wasn't quite as taken with her as I am now. And that is because now I've seen the preliminary competition and I've seen the national costume competition or show, and I've seen her in several other settings. And with that said, I see a spark there, a really good contestant. So I think Miss Venezuela will also be in that top 12. Miss Philippines is seems to be most years in the top 12, and I think this year will be no exception. Her name is Maxine, and I think she is really strong. She's got a lot of flair, and she's a very beautiful woman. I don't think she's as strong as Pia was last year, who won, even regardless of what Steve Harvey originally said. But anyway, she's had a great year. I can't believe it's already flown by. But yeah, I do think Maxine, Miss Philippines, will be in the top 12. And then moving on to Miss Brazil, she really struck me right off the bat as someone who is a strong contestant, a strong contender for this competition, and potentially the crown itself. So Miss Brazil, she's different looking. I heard that she's the first I almost said African American, the first black woman to represent Brazil in this pageant in, I think they said 30 years. That's amazing. So anyway, she's really beautiful, very unique looking. I like her hair. So I expect her to do well in this pageant, if not win. Um, Also, I want to mention Miss Colombia. Um, I think she is definitely a contender, and as you may remember, last year she was announced, Miss Columbia, as the winner of the pageant, but of course she really wasn't. She was the first runner up. So Columbia does well a lot of times, and I think this year will be no exception. She will do well, at least get into the top 12. So, um, Miss USA, I want to talk about Miss USA. I really do like her, but I think she's on the bubble. I don't know if she'll make it into the top 12. I'm leaning towards her getting in. Um, but if so, I don't know that she'll go far beyond that. I don't know what the next level is going to be. Probably six, I'm assuming. But I don't think she would get to that. But we'll see. It depends how she performs in the pageant. I mean, you got to keep in mind that even once they get into the top 12, it then depends on how they do that night. So it's hard to predict that now. Um, Miss Vietnam is definitely someone I'm considering for the top 12, and I think right now that she will be in it. So that's how I'm leaning on her. But again, I think she's kind of with Miss USA there on the bubble. Um, Now there are a couple contestants I want to mention, and one is Sierra Leone, Miss Sierra Leone. I believe I heard she's the first ever Miss Sierra Leone to be in the pageant. I really like her. I think she's strong, and I think she could surprise some people and be in the top 12. We'll see, but I do think she has a good chance. Also, from Africa, we have Miss Kenya and Miss South Africa. Now, of those two, right now, I like Miss Kenya better, and I think she could get into the top 12. Um, but it just depends on the mix. Basically, here's where I am at. I have 17 women here to try to fill 12 spots, and I have about six or so that are definite. For instance, Mexico, Venezuela, Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, and yeah, who's the sixth one? Also Spain. I haven't mentioned Miss Spain yet. I'm not seeing her on a lot of other people's lists. I'm not sure why, because she really struck me as someone at the top of the pack. So I'm hoping I am predicting she will be in the top 12, and I'm hoping that the judges were smart enough to see what I saw. But that's not always the case. So we'll see. Miss China, I want to mention, is another one that is a possible. Um, One of the ones I'm trying to decide on as we get into this last 24 hours almost before the pageant starts in about 26 hours, I think. Another one I'm considering is Miss Canada. Now, I want to mention a couple things about Miss Canada. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. She may not be stereotypically pageant like, but she's got a great look, and I really like her spirit. She's had some controversy, so to speak, to deal with in this because some people are calling her like almost overweight, that she needs to lose weight because she's not thin. There's one lady in the pageant, I believe it's Miss Italy, that is too thin. She looks ghostly thin. I mean, it's just not attractive. But Canada is just, healthy. And I don't see anything wrong with her body. Now, it'll be interesting to see if she gets in. In fact, I think it was one of the previous Miss Philippines who may have won Miss Universe some years back who said, well, she could get into the top 12 if she loses 8 pounds. 8 pounds is going to make that much difference. I mean, I wonder where eight, I guess she later changed it to 5. But 5 or 8 pounds, is that really going to make her look that different? I don't think so. So either she makes it in or she doesn't. But I almost think that controversy could help her. So keep an eye out for Miss Cannon and let's see what happens. I don't know. And one other one I definitely want to talk about is Miss Thailand. Now I'm very mixed on Miss Thailand right now. I think she's good. Don't get me wrong, or she wouldn't be in my 17 that are listed here. But I just don't think she's as strong as some other people seem to. She's popping up in a lot of lists, or excuse me, on a lot of lists, and I'm not. I don't see her in the same league as some of these other contestants, but she's close. She's up there. She could, again, anyone who does get into the top 12 could, have a great night and just do wonderfully and win. So we'll see, especially once you get to the questions. And, that usually I think there's two questions that they have to answer. One that the same one that the final three answer usually, and different ones that the six answer. At least that's how I believe they did it last year. So yeah, I think Thailand could get in, but I'm just not positive. Just one or two others I want to mention. One is Miss Jamaica. Um, I think she is very strong and could be in the top 12. So I've got her down here as possible in my, 4 or 5 that are possible right now that I'm still trying to decide on. Usually by this time I have it, my list is good to go. But this one with such strong candidates, I mean, some of the other ones that I've thought of is Miss Aruba, Miss Georgia, they're not on my list anymore, but great candidates. A lot of people mentioning Miss Curacao. So, you just never know. Also, I think the last one I want to talk about is Miss Australia. She is on my list of 17. In other words, any of these could be in the top 12, but I'm just trying to decide here. Um, so yeah, I like Miss Australia, but she's just not one of my favorites. I kind of look at her and Miss USA a lot alike, actually, where they're great contestants. They're in the top group of 80. You're talking about 86 contestants. So to be in the top 17 or so, it's still pretty good, but it's just, can they make it into the top 12 against some of these others? I don't know. We shall see. But right now, I'm saying Australia is not on my list of 12. USA is, and some of that has to do with tradition. Some of that has to do with the judges. So right now, Miss USA is in there. We'll see. But Miss Australia, I don't have in there. So you know what? It'll probably be the other way around. But who knows? But these are my best guesses at this point with everything I have seen. So I'm just going to go over these names again. So the ones that I definitely have in my top 12 are Spain, Mexico, Venezuela, Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, and USA. Vietnam, Jamaica, China, Kenya, and Canada are some others that I think are very likely. Sierra Leone and Thailand are also in that mix. So so putting that aside for a minute, the bottom line is who are the top 5 or 6? And to me, that's clear. So we got Mexico, Venezuela, Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, and then, if that's the top 5 right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I would put either Spain. If there is a 6, I'd probably put Spain in there myself right now. So we'll see. But those are my top 6. As far as who I think might win out of those, I would lean towards Mexico has a really good chance. I don't think Philippines is going to win this year, although I think she's strong. So I would say Mexico, Venezuela, and Brazil are my top 3. And of those, it could be any of them, but it'll have to. You just have to see what happens at the pageant. And my gut is telling me Brazil will win it all, but that's just my gut, and we don't want to go by that until we see the actual pageant. So thanks for watching. These are my thoughts at this time, and it's Saturday about 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So the day before the pageant, and we'll see. I can't wait to see it. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.